This interview was not only better, it was more of a pleasure to conduct, sir. Yes.
Anytime.
Okay.
It's always good to talk to another asshole.
You got it right here.
It's Friday night. That means it's time for the Don Tony Show.
You've waited all week, and now it's finally here. Get Don Tony's perspective on current affairs in the world of pro wrestling and beyond.
And now, your host, the man, the legend, Don Tony.
Thank God. Thank God. Hey, listen, let's not cut AEW too short here. AEW came back with fans a little bit sooner. But WWE, being in our homes for decades and decades and decades, it's the staple mate as far as us being wrestling fans. Man, does it feel good to see this again. Seriously. Man, did it feel good to see this guy again. I know. We're supposed to hate him. The evil Vince McMahon releases people cold, blah, 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 blah. Where have y'all been? He just, look, I think we all realize now Vince McMahon's health is not what it used to be. In fact, I think there's a lot of topics of conversation that are always kept on a hush-hush out of respect for him. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I actually do dig the Hall of Fame. I wish this son of a bitch would go in the WWE Hall of Fame just so all the fans that are live in attendance at the Hall of Fame ceremony could thank him. It was always on my bucket list to one day, walk up to him and shake his hand and thank him. I'm still envious of Vinny G from back in the Hotline days that got to meet Vince and the whole family simply because he dressed up like Michael Jackson. And I know some of you out there have already seen those photos plenty of times. But look, I don't push the vaccine on anybody. I got it done in February. I'm still standing. I know a lot of people who got it done. They're still standing. And yes, this virus is going to stick around for a few years. But enough people have been vaccinated that we can finally go back to this. And let's also be honest for a minute. It's like a relationship that has a sour breakup. If you look at the WWE product for the last couple of years, a lot of people complain. Remember, Roman Reigns, his current character, was given birth during this pandemic. So a lot of things changed since March of 2020. But just like a relationship that goes sour, if you don't talk to that person for 495 days, and then you bump into that person again, for some reason they look a little bit extra sexy. They seem a little bit nicer. A lot of things seem to wear off, and you say to yourself, do you think we can possibly reconnect? And at the first it feels invigorating, energized. This time around, it shouldn't need live fans leaving and then coming back for the WWE product to get awesome again. However, see, I try to be very realistic on these shows. I enjoyed Thunderdome. I had a ball. You don't know how much of the little kid inside me marked out that the last ever visual that you'll have on Thunderdome, seriously, the last ever visual, the last ever match, the last ever pin, somebody in WWE decided, let's put Deli Man at ringside. Let's put the old fart front close and center. 2 hours and 55 cents, 2 hours, 55 cents, 2 hours and 55 minutes of Raw. I'm positioned behind the announcer's table. But the last visual going off the air, you see this. That's a little kid in me coming out. It's a little kid in me coming out. But I also recognize that Thunderdome was a Band-Aid on a massive wound. I hope to God we don't ever need Thunderdome again. I hope we never, ever have to go back to that. If we do, so be it. But obviously, that was an audible during really dark times. So WWE pulled back. They held back on returns. I know, since I've been doing it since 97, I pat myself on the back a little bit too much. It does rub people the wrong way, and I apologize for that. But give me a little credit for this. Back at WrestleMania time, I came up here with Mish, and I said, SummerSlam is truly going to be WrestleMania this year. Yeah, I know it was the pomp and circumstance for WrestleMania, but that was kind of like a test of getting back to normalcy. And back then I said, you're not going to see major surprises on Raw. What did we get the night after WrestleMania? The Viking Raiders return? No major surprises on SmackDown. Becky Lynch held back. Sasha Banks held back. Finn Balor held back. And others, which WWE will surprise you with. And I am not complaining at all, because why would you shoot these bullets, pun intended, without a live audience there, without ticket sales? Forget the people last year that actually tried to convince you that WWE was not going to go back to house shows ever again. Forget all that. Forget, just the feeling of that. But just look at it in a business standpoint. 14,496 fans sold out tonight in that building. Today, AEW's tickets went on sale for their upcoming show in Queens, New York, 10 minutes from my house. I have not bought tickets yet. First of all, I admit I'm a little insulted that I reached out to them 3 times because I wanted to buy 100 tickets and nobody responded. Nobody responded to me in Chicago. I don't ask for much. I don't ask to get special privileges or anything like that. I'm doing this shit since 1997. You would think, all right, that guy, he's still around. Nothing. So I didn't buy my tickets today, but I did go on Ticketmaster just to see how the tickets were selling, and they're selling phenomenal. There were 2 tickets in the front row, $4,000 with fees on Ticketmaster's website. 4 G's for 2 tickets, front row. I'm not going to criticize anybody who spends that money. If you got it and you want to spend it that way, I nor anyone else should tell you how to do it. If you put your pennies in the bank and you decide you want to get laid in a whorehouse, all right, sure, that's a health risk, but if that's what you want to do, so be it. If you want to take your money and you want to give it to Corbin, by the way, that is not a real donation page. If you go to CorbinFund.com, first of all, you probably won't get through right now. It probably crashed because that was just set up as a web page, one page. But if you are able to get through, that's what it looks like. And it's not a real donation page. When you go on there, all you see is a picture. That's it. That's it. People do that. They set up websites and all it is a picture on it, an advertisement. It's a storyline. But hey, you spend all your money. You worked hard for it. You do whatever you want with it. Seriously. You spend it however you want. But, you know, the point is, you see all these live fans back. When you see 20,000 for AEW, forget the energy for a minute. Forget how that feeds off to the wrestlers, and the wrestlers want to do even more. Forget the feeling of normalcy, the excitement, the happiness. Think of all the money that's being made. Think of the millions and millions of dollars that are being made off of one show. We didn't even talk about merchandise, food, sodas. I mean, you know, I had the privilege to be involved in a couple of indie shows making money. Mass Maniac, Frank Goodman, gave me the privilege for 3 or 4 shows, really 3, to contribute, invest, and make money. And when you actually dissect the wrestlers' salaries, the hotel, the insurance, the permits, the licenses, you know, the merch, everything that you want to do, and you start adding on paper, and then when you see those ticket sales going through, and you see 500 tickets sold, you see 1,000 tickets sold, you see 1,300 tickets sold, you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So the live energy is awesome. I love the crowd today, but on a business standpoint, this is the lifeblood. This is the lifeblood of wrestling. If it wasn't the lifeblood of wrestling, then why is every promotion running as fast as they can to try to get live fans back in attendance? Because they know that for those 500 plus days, and even more in some promotions cases, that fans, they're just craving for something that gives them joy, gives them entertainment, and gives them a sense of normalcy. I'm telling you. So I love this tonight. And look, I got a lot of DMs and emails tonight, and I understand why you all do that, because you don't want to tweet it publicly and then get a whole bunch of people jumping down your throat. You don't do it on Discord because a lot of Discord pages are just flat out toxic, especially if you're not a normal, regular person commenting. God forbid somebody new says, hey, everybody, and just flat out buried with bullshit posts to basically say, we don't want you here. I fucking hate that shit. I hate it with a passion. But a lot of you out there reached out to me today and said, DT, Edge's pop when he came out, authentic. Liv Morgan's pop, surprising, but authentic. Roman Reigns' entrance, surprising, as far as how the reaction was. You would think one way or the other. And look, people ask me point blank, did WWE enhance that sound tonight? I'm going to answer it like this. Tonight, I don't care. I don't care. I will say, if you watch the show, there's a couple of points where you'll feel a little bit confused, where you'll hear loud, loud, loud boos, and you look at the crowd and they're like this. I don't know too many people that go, boo, or yay, 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 fuck you. There was a couple of points that it seemed a little bit odd. I don't care tonight. I don't care. This is the start of that feeling of normalcy. It resonates with the fans. It resonated here at home with all of us. It resonates with the wrestlers. We had a fun episode of SmackDown. Little bit extra, obviously, with the return of live fans. We got Money in the Bank this Sunday, which should be a fun pay-per-view nonetheless. No, I appreciate everybody. Seriously, I thank you. I thank you. You know, because it's true. It's true. You know, but who cares, man? Who cares? What? So it sounds like 20,000 people cheered instead of 10,000? Come on. There was nothing WWE was going to do that was going to overtake the actual reactions tonight. So honestly, I understand why some people at some points were a little bit confused. I don't care. I just enjoyed the show. I didn't tweet fuck every 5 minutes about it. I just sat and I enjoyed the show. I liked it. For 2 hours. And again, I know this is unpopular, but you got to give AEW credit as well. AEW Wednesday for 2 hours, I forgot about COVID. Their last pay-per-view for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, I forgot about COVID. Tonight, I honestly forgot about COVID again. So tonight, we're going to recap SmackDown. There's no recap that I could give you that replaces actually watching it. If you did not watch SmackDown tonight, watch it. I honestly think you'll enjoy it. Even if you're not the biggest WWE fan, tonight I think you'll enjoy it. It was a fun show. Good lead in for Money in the Bank. Little surprised we didn't get Raw wrestlers, trying to invade and start beating up on some people. Interesting that they held off on returns of some other wrestlers who have been out. But when I get to my predictions, me, I always like to throw audibles out there. And I'll tell you this. They filled the last spot in the women's Money in the Bank match today. Now, I talked about the other day. Sasha Banks does not need to be in the ladder match. She can get a feud with Bianca Belair simply because of WrestleMania. And trust me, after the ESPYs, their feud is going to rekindle. Absolutely. They could have had Becky Lynch come out today as a surprise and get the last entry. I even said it. It would have made total sense. Sonya Deville in the middle of the ring, and she announces that the last person in the Money in the Bank ladder match is someone who never lost their title, and it makes sense. Becky Lynch gave her title to Asuka and relinquished it because she was pregnant. Becky Lynch being in the Money in the Bank match would be her opportunity to get an opportunity. But I'll throw my audible now. I'm going to repeat it on the predictions, but I'm going to throw an audible now because that's how I roll. Just throwing an idea out there. I know it sounds nuts. What do you think of the possibility? Well, by the way, Tamina was the last person in this match, all right? But what do you think about the possibility that Becky Lynch is still in this Money in the Bank ladder match? I have two scenarios. Asuka sees Becky Lynch at Money in the Bank and says, "You gave me the championship. I'm giving you my spot." Becky Lynch gets the entry into Money in the Bank and wins the briefcase. That's my first scenario. My second scenario is that Asuka wins the briefcase, and then Asuka gives the briefcase to Becky Lynch, gives her the opportunity. Something tells me one of those two is a possibility. I don't think it's that far-fetched. It's just me trying. Okay, look, anybody that dislikes it, I totally respect your view on that. But trust me, I think that the fact that Becky Lynch gave the title to Asuka because she was pregnant, Asuka giving something back to Becky Lynch, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. Now, Asuka not being in the match, I think would piss some people piss them off. So maybe you keep Asuka in the match, let her win the briefcase, and then Asuka gives it to Becky Lynch. So, Mike, like I said, Sasha Banks does not need to win a briefcase to take on Bianca Belair. All Sasha Banks has to do is show up on SmackDown next week or at Money in the Bank this Sunday and attack Bianca Belair, and that's it. The feud rekindles. I think it's needed with Bayley out. Carmella had a decent match tonight. look, I know it's a little unpopular, but this show we've been singing the praise for Carmella for quite some time. Is she the most polished wrestler out there? No. But you look at Carmella from a couple of years ago to now, Carmella has improved significantly. And she actually had a decent match tonight with Bianca Belair. Unfortunately, that's not enough. You need a huge heel. And one thing is for certain. If anybody out there that thought that Bianca Belair may not be as over with the fans as you think because her SmackDown career has been stale, as some people call it. We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. I mean, it's rare for somebody to shine unbelievably in the middle of a pandemic with Thunderdome and everything going on. Tonight, WWE got the exclamation point that Bianca Belair is tremendously over with the fans. That's why I think a heel Sasha Banks, since Bayley is out with the injury, I guess knee surgery, blew out her knee, 9 months, somebody needs to take that place. I don't think anybody in NXT could do that. I still feel Sasha Banks is the one. Now, speaking of NXT, been telling you this for 6 weeks. Give Mish a lot of credit as well. You got the Nick Khan effect tonight once again. Now, we haven't seen it yet, but tonight, Davey Boy Smith, he's back with WWE. He wrestled as Harry Smith. He teamed up with Austin Theory, and they beat Odyssey Jones and I think Zion Quinn. Is that how you pronounce his first name? He used to be Daniel Vidot. Also tonight, Xia Li beat Aaliyah. This is the Nick Khan effect continuing. Why can't we have some NXT stars wrestle at a WWE event? Whether it's a dark match, main event, somebody shows up on SmackDown, on Raw. Why not? Why not get a little bit extra exposure? He is consolidating a lot of these divisions. 205 Live, why do we have to have a group just for that? Why can't we use someone from here and someone from here and someone from here and someone from here? Mandy Rose back in NXT. Let's see. I have a weird feeling that she may actually be on Raw again. Maybe not for long. Something needs to give with her and Dana Brooke. But look at Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, just by that one main event match and the one match that he performed in front of WWE officials, he goes back to NXT this week, and he's trending on social media. If he didn't have that one main event match and that one match fun, he wouldn't have gotten that much attention. So I like it. I like that they're using some other wrestlers. That doesn't mean Xia Li is making a jump. Could. Doesn't mean a lot of these people are making a jump. They could. They could. I like it, man. I like it. It's smart business. Smart business. You don't have... I wouldn't be surprised if the grizzled young veterans soon be on a main event match or a dark match. You got people that you're not using as much. Look at Xia Li before the stuff with Mercedes Martinez. She was off TV for 8 straight weeks. 8 weeks. Why? Why? So anyway, before we go any further, if I can make one criticism about tonight's SmackDown, and I don't know if you all agree with me, and by the way, we're doing a contest tonight. Yay! Everybody here live is part of the contest. I was going to do where you posted it in the comment section after the show, because obviously, a couple of things happen as a result. By posting your comments, the more comments you post, the more YouTube's like, hey, there's a lot of interaction going on over here. Let's recommend that show to other people. But I was like, you know what? Tonight, everybody who tunes in live, hanging out with me tonight, you have the opportunity to win something. And I looked into my box of toys, and I came out with this. Since Finn Balor made his return tonight, someone tonight will win that autographed NXT card of Finn Balor. It's limited to 50. I checked eBay earlier today, and there's only one up there limited to 50 that is selling for $149. I don't know if that's his rookie card. I don't remember if 2016 was his rookie year, but someone tonight is going to win that card. What you do with it is up to you. Unfortunately, someone tonight that's going to lose will get the Alberto El Patron card instead. No, I don't think anybody wants an Alberto card right now. I put it up there like, yeah, the loser's going to get an Alberto card. So, how do you win that card tonight? You will have to type something in the chat room later on. Just got to type something in the chat room. Don't do it yet, because it would be totally unfair, because, you know, it's going to be the first person that gets something right. So when I announce it and I say, all right, ready, go, that's when you all type it for that. And I went on a rant yesterday. I don't understand Impact Wrestling with this. I mean, I do understand it. AEW's got them by the balls. Oh, you want to do some work for us? No problem. You're going to have to do this, and this. And we don't have to publicize your shit on our show at all. Oh, what do you think about Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Gun showing up on Dynamite? That would be so cool. They could try to jump the guardrail, and security could pull them away, and it could be a big pull apart, and all the small group of AEW fans would be like, holy shit, or this is a... Sami Callihan, he's unhinged. Sami Callihan could just try to cause chaos and disrupt the whole... Moose, he's going to have the match with Kenny Omega. Why don't we just have Moose show it? Yeah, we'll do that, but no fans in attendance. Man, Impact Wrestling got the shit end of that stick. By the way, I think Chelsea Green will be Matt Cardona's tag team partner. But wait, she just signed with Ring of Honor. I think Impact Wrestling needs to do a little bit with Ring of Honor, do a little bit with NWA. Why am I doing this with my fingers? Do a little bit with MLW. You know, do it with those promotions. Seriously, you're not in competition with AEW. You're going to get more even-sided publicity and promotion. AEW showed up and did all this invasion stuff with the Tony Khan commercials and everything, and their ratings went down. What does that tell you? Anyway, enough. SmackDown tonight opens up with Vince McMahon. Honestly, I was trying to find a better screenshot of him smiling, but he literally got out there and was out there for maybe a few seconds. His music blared, and he's like, where the hell you all been? And he turns around and just walks off. Everybody's like, that's it. That's it. Vince McMahon is not the man he used to be. Whenever we see Vince McMahon, it's either pre-recorded sit-down interviews. So if it doesn't come off really, really polished, take 2, take 19, take 47. Or he's hugging someone in the back after a pay-per-view. That's all it is. It's just hugging. It upsets me. It upsets me that I've been a wrestling fan since 79, and to think back then Vince McMahon, only knowing him as Junior and then him as a commentator, and watching those George the Animal Steel matches, and every time at the turnbuckle, the eyes, the ears, I fucking loved Vince McMahon on commentary. I'm one of the few that loved this shit back in the day. Then, my God, you know, I mean, yeah, we're fast forwarding like 40 years. No, I'm exaggerating, but, you know, the Mr. McMahon character all these years. To see him now, bags of in his eyes like this, and you know when he's doing this strut, you know, it's probably like in his mind, he's like, It's sad to see your favorites get old. It's sad to see people become mortal. It's sad to see people become fragile and frail, but that's just what life is. You know, so it was nice to see Vince But when Vince makes these very, very short appearances, it's not, oh, it's not about me. It's about the show. It's about all of you. No. People fucking love it. It's what we have left. It's what we have left. But it was nice to see him today. The evil Vince McMahon that everybody hates, but they pop when he comes out with his music. So it was nice to see him. Where the hell have you been? And he walks off. Roman Reigns comes out with the Usos, and we find out very quickly that 6-man tag match was going to be the opening match for SmackDown. I love it. I loved it. Tonight gave a very special feel to it. You know, no, it shouldn't have closed out. So I don't care what would have opened it, what closed it. It just, tonight was a fun show. Fact that a lot of you may not even be aware of. Dominik Mysterio tonight. This was the first time in his WWE career that he's wrestling in front of a live crowd. I don't know if a lot of you knew that or maybe thought about that. Go back to the very beginning before Edge's music even hit, when Edge came out for the match. You look at Dominik, focus on Dominik. Tears in his eyes, very, very emotional with the fans at ringside. I know this sounds a little bit unfair. Oh, wait. I totally got off track. I said if there's one thing that I could have criticized with tonight's match, well, let's finish Dominik first, because I think he deserves a little love. You know, go watch that and see that legit emotion and where he is gone and how good he is, you know, developed. And he's a tag team champion right now. So I know this sounds a little unfair, but of all the WWE wrestlers that performed tonight, the one I felt the happiest for was for Dominik Mysterio, to be honest with you. Now, I do want to say this. This is just my opinion. If there was one criticism that I can make tonight, one. And as I said before, I understand why a lot of you don't say these things public, because, you know, there's a bunch of people just literally drooling, waiting just to shoot you down or put you down. If there was one thing that annoyed me tonight about WWE SmackDown, was this. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. This is just my opinion. You know, when someone dies, it's sad. It's sad. Especially when you see over the years so many people that you watched when you were a kid passing away. Your whole childhood heroes, the people that entertain you, you see them with gray hair. You see them, their muscles, like their chest muscles are hitting the floor. They look like saggy tits. People can't even be able to walk. It's sad. It's really sad. But, when someone dies, it doesn't have to be sad or all sad. It's bummer. It's depressing. As I said yesterday, you know, when some people are like, I'm going to miss Paul. Why? Was he podcasting? Was he making appearances? Was he showing up at shows? You know, I understand why people do that. But the fact is, you know, when someone passes and they're out of their pain, you know, it's time for celebration. I don't know how many Italians out there do this still. I don't know how many of you non-Italians out there do this, but this is true. This is 100% true. Personal about me. When family members of mine have died over the years, after the final viewing in the funeral home and the mass and the burial, after the burial, if any of you out there that are Italian, that know where I'm going with this, write it in the chat room as I'm saying this. what do we all do right after the burial? Do we sob and go home? Do we go back to work? No. We all go out to eat. We go to a restaurant. And every single person in my family who has passed over the years, after the ceremony, we go out to eat and everybody celebrates that person. And we laugh. Sure, tears are still shed, but we laugh and we have fond memories and we tell stories. And I never knew that. Oh my God. It's a celebration. Paul Orndorff passing should not have been looked at as, oh, too depressing. We can't show that. This is energy. This is positive. We're back to life fans. No, we can't bring everybody down with somebody dying. As much as WWE once in a blue moon shows love to yours truly, I got to be honest with you. Tonight, I thought that was very disrespectful on their part to not pay any tribute for this guy whatsoever. People, you show highlights. We celebrate. Just like I said, there's one thing I could criticize tonight, be that. After the show is over, if you disagree, post it in the comment section. I totally respect everybody's views out there. Absolutely. So we have the 6-man tag open up the show. Dominik getting powerbombed on the announcer's table. I tell you, I feel bad for the people that sit right behind Pat McAfee. Because Pat McAfee, and we've talked about this before, that guy legitimately is a hardcore wrestling fan. And when shit is on and he's there live, he stands out of his seat. He gets out of his seat. It's not a gimmick. The guy is just so it's like when you're at a show and you jump out of your seat. Why am I jumping out of my seat? You can't fake that. And when he's standing up for minutes at a time, like I look at the people behind him and I'm just wonder if anyone will like, Pat, can you just like move to the right? Pat McAfee is pretty fucking great, man. I mean, it's a shame what happened to Adnan Virk, but he didn't fit in. I know people wanted to give him a chance, and I know we were respectful about it, but you could tell immediately that it just, WWE was trying to make it feel like we're putting a real sports guy in there, real baseball guy, give it legitimacy. Oh, baseball announcer on WWE. Oh, they're taking this shit more seriously. WWE at the ESPYs, that is a big, big deal. Because now you not only have sports at the ESPYs, you have sports entertainment at the ESPYs. So Adnan Virk was just that extra where they want to put that legitimate, I shouldn't say legitimate, the not predetermined aspect of sport. So we had the 6-man tag match tonight. Edge's pop, that probably put the biggest smile on my face tonight. Happy for Dominik. Love the reactions. Happy for Liv Morgan. I don't think anybody was expecting her to get the "you deserve it" chance. And yes, tonight maybe a little bit extra special with chants for everything, but still, who gives a shit, man? It was a great show. But Edge came out to an insane pop. And you couldn't fake that. You couldn't pipe that shit in. Trust me. I don't think WWE would have speakers loud enough to overtake 14,000 people erupting on there. Big shout out to everybody who is live, by the way. Thank you for spending part of your Friday night with yours truly. Don't forget, Sunday, right after the pay-per-view, I'll be here live discussing Money in the Bank. I will be opening the phone lines. We're just talking Money in the Bank Sunday. So if you want to call in and you have something specific that you want to talk about, by all means, you'll be able to call in. And if you have other topics, Monday I'll be back with Mish, and Monday we'll be taking some live calls as well. So tomorrow I will be doing the Q&A for our channel members. Mike, calling Edge's pop the pop of the year, when, other than WrestleMania, this is just the first show back with fans. Relax. It was an awesome pop, though. It's one that we'll remember. You know what was so great about it? He's an older guy. He's a Hall of Famer. Never thought that he would be able to wrestle on this level ever again. And this younger generation of fans that never really got to experience Edge on a full-time basis have embraced him. Embraced him. You know, that's why I never, ever criticize anybody signing anybody simply based on their age. Let's see what they can and cannot do. Let's see, you know, what they bring to the table. Not everybody needs to go this route. It's even like the Goldberg stuff. You know, I actually saw a website today. I don't want to say who it is. I try to be a little bit more respectful by not bringing people's names up as much. There was one site, and I know a lot of you know exactly who it is. You want to type it in the chat, go ahead. There was one website today that wrote this long fucking blog, and the topic was, Goldberg is not the answer for WWE. He signed to a 2 to 3 match contract a year. What in the blue hell are these people talking about? He's got 2 or 3 matches. That's it. 2 or 3 matches. He's not the... What are these people talking about? You just think about that for a minute. He's going to be back, have 1, 2 matches, 3 possibly, and then do the same thing next year, and that's it. What do they want him to do? Just toss around Chad Gable for a little while? He's not the answer. What are these people thinking? That he was just going to be on TV on a weekly basis and he's back to full time? People just, they don't think before they write or say stuff sometimes. Goldberg, I'm going to watch it as a fan. I like Goldberg. He's entertained me over the years. He's had some good points, some bad points. I watched that 24 when he first made his return and how balls out he went, you know, condition himself just for a couple of matches. I don't know many people that would work that hard. Yes, when you get paid a crazy amount of money and you get to do it for your son, obviously those are 2 very big incentives, and you got to get the belt. But still, you know, the guy took it seriously, and that deserves respect from me. You know, ripping something before you even see it, I think is just totally unfair, in my opinion. So we get the 6-man tag match tonight, and they announce that the kickoff show for Sunday, there's going to be a tag title match, the Usos versus the Mysterios for the tag belts. Now, I know a lot of you are still saying, what is WWE going to do about Jimmy Uso? I think you're pretty much seeing it. Does it feel like he's off TV? And when something that serious gets in the way, even back in the day when you had wellness suspensions, think of Rob Van Dam as a great example. Rob Van Dam, when he got pulled over with Sabu that time, he was the WWE champion and the ECW champion. They didn't, the next day, you know, take ramifications. It took about a week or so. He ended up dropping both belts. Made a mistake. Paid dearly for it. I think WWE's version of ECW, you know, pretty much got a bunch of extra nails in the coffin at the time because of RVD and his screw up. But, you know, you look at it now and it's like, all right, Jimmy Uso, he got pulled over again. This is not the first time. There's video of him getting angry at a cop. There's another one where he was found that, like, Jimmy Uso, it seems like he's got a problem, you know, but WWE has chosen to keep this guy on TV. I don't think they're winning the tag belts Sunday, but could you imagine especially social media, how much toxicity is going to be in the air if Jimmy Uso is rewarded with a tag team championship title after this happening. I don't have an alcohol problem. I don't have an issue with that. I just can't picture, we'll put you in the main event. We'll keep you in the main event. We'll put you in a tag title match. We'll give you the belts. That'll keep your mind off of your next drink. Now I heard, I have no proof. I'm looking into it, but I heard that what was reported on Jimmy Uso's arrest, it might have been a little bit of a technical clerical error in some of the information that was made public. I don't have anything to substantiate that. But if any of you out there that have followed me for decades, usually when I get information, I always do my research, but usually if I get information, more times than not, it ends up having a little bit of credibility behind it. So who knows? That could be one of the reasons why it feels like WWE is not doing much of anything towards Jimmy Uso. No question he was drinking and driving. I mean, they're not going to determine later on, no. What was on his breath was it was an alcoholic flavored cert. It was a pina colada cert. No, he didn't blow. He sucked. Of course he had alcohol in his system. But tonight, Roman Reigns and the Usos get the victory on Rey Mysterio, Dominik Mysterio, and Edge. And yes, some people were a little bit baffled by that, especially going into the pay-per-view. But after the match is over, we got a lot of physicality. Edge with some spears, Roman Reigns with the Superman punch, a lot of chair shots being made. And then you had Edge once again with that bent bar, putting that submission move on Roman Reigns. Now, when Michael Cole says, could that happen on Sunday? No, because he'll get disqualified. I don't think it's a no DQ match, is it? But, the afterwards, the beatdown afterwards, was just to intensify what is going to go down on Sunday. Now, Edge was interviewed in the back later on by Kayla Braxton, and Edge's voice is gone. He's very raspy right now. But the main event, the crowd was off the hook. It just, everything about it was just fun. And it really set up this Sunday extremely well. Chris, look, like I said, I don't want to stick to the Jimmy Uso topic. But, we can't just paint a broad brush with that. Because like I said, you and we're not around Jeff Hardy every single day. We don't know if he's totally kicked alcohol. Or maybe he's, learned to have it in moderation. Or maybe he absolutely will not get behind the wheel with it. We don't know what these guys do in their personal lives every single day. I'm not accusing them of anything, but we don't know what they do. We don't know if Jimmy Uso was nowhere near alcohol for a year and then slipped up on the 4th of July. And because he was so blitzed that he didn't even have the wherewithal to say, I can't get behind the wheel. When a lot of us drink and we get more relaxed, we think we could do things that we can't. And we try to everything feels extra relaxed. Trust me, when someone is pissed drunk, they don't have their smarts. I'm not making excuses, but the thing is, we don't know what Jimmy Uso's drinking habits were over the last year or so. 2 years since what happened. It was 2 years to the day. For all we know, he could be drinking and driving all the time. It just so happened last week he got caught. We don't know what the deal is with him. So saying that he needs to get help, we don't know. We don't know. Personally, I do feel, though, that DMV in Florida should be suspending his shit for a year. Do you know? I mentioned this yesterday. Do you know? I was supposed to go today. I postponed it to Monday. Now I got to postpone it to Tuesday because my air conditioner went on my truck. And I'm not driving an hour each way with no air conditioner because when I walk into the place to get fingerprinted, I'm going to smell like death. But I got to get fingerprinted next week because I want to be able to sell insurance in Florida. Now, I'm a New Yorker, but I have some customers in New York that own property in Florida, and they want me to handle their insurance. So I want to be licensed that I can sell some insurance in Florida. Florida requires me to get fingerprinted, background check, and all this other stuff. Just think about it. When everybody talks about all this crazy shit with gun laws or the lack of, I have to be fingerprinted, background check, and all this shit just so I could sell somebody a house insurance policy in Florida. So look at all the shit that we got to go through just to do that. And this guy gets arrested 3 times over the legal limit, even though, like I said, that might have been slightly incorrect. And they give him $500 bond. $50, that's what it costs to get a $500 bond. So Florida's got to get a little bit more stern on their laws. Take away this motherfucker's license for a year, you know? But we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. By the way, I have to mention this, and I want to mention it just for 1 second, because I know there's enough of you out there that actually do give a shit about this guy. Rest in peace, Biz Markie. I talked about it about 2 weeks ago. I was hoping for a miracle. Complications of diabetes, 57 years old. How many times over the years, everybody, did I reference Biz Markie songs? And true fact, back in 1990, you know, I did a mashup of Nobody Beats the Biz and Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. I played it for my patrons, one episode. And I actually got that on 12-inch record. My friends that were DJs at the time, they had connections, and they got it on a 12-inch record. I didn't sell too many. I bought like 20 copies myself. I have my own record, and I used his Nobody Beats the Biz. I was a huge fan of Biz Markie. Now, all of you out there that are younger, how you know Biz Markie more than anything else from commercials. I don't know if you ever had the opportunity to go to a club when that song, you know, Just a Friend, You Got What I Need. I'm not going to do it here, you know, but I so loved his work growing up, and I had all of his songs. I even joke once in a while, you know, like, hey, Ma, what's for dinner? Go up your nose and pick a winner. Rest in peace, Biz Markie. This Italian white guy loved his fucking music back then. So, Sami Zayn comes out. Okay, pop from the fans. Sami Zayn talking about conspiracy for the last 495 days. He's not in Money in the Bank. And he wants the fans to start chanting justice for Sami. Got a decent number of fans to go to chant it, but Sami Zayn basically ripping the fans and is pissed off. And the next thing you know, and we talked about it last week. We talked about him coming back and maybe going back to SmackDown. He is back. Finn Balor showed up. Crowd loved it. Finn Balor hits the ring, and he immediately knocks the shit out of Sami Zayn. Knocks him on his ass. And now we're going to have a feud. Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. I honestly don't know anyone that is going to have any problem with that. I just hope that they give them the time to tear it up, because even before WWE, we got spoiled with Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, and El Generico. But to see Finn Balor and Sami Zayn go at it, man, that has some crazy-ass potential. And I miss all the fans doing, you know, I can't do it here. I'll be knocking lights down and shit like that. But it was awesome to see Finn Balor back. We'll see some more surprises in the very near future. You know, you don't want to throw them all out there all in one shot, because then you got nothing. So little at a time, like I told you, I truly believe the last 5.5 months, last 5.5 months of 2021 is going to be one of the most memorable years in recent memory for us as wrestling fans. Not just because of WWE or AEW, but there's going to be so much craving for not just wrestling, but some good wrestling, and everybody's going to try to one-up each other. You're going to see some people get overpaid, I think. You know, there's a lot of rumors about Daniel Bryan in AEW. Some people still think Brock Lesnar in AEW, although I think that wouldn't make sense. But, you know, you're going to see some people get a little bit overpaid, maybe get a little bit, you know, of an extra push simply because of the climate that we're in. If it plays off good on TV, that's fine with me. So we got Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Things feel a lot more different on SmackDown in a matter of 2 weeks. Next, we get Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. And yes, they are calling them Shotzi and Nox. It sounds like a 70s crime drama. You know, like, remember like Starsky and Hutch? Honestly, that's what it feels like. It feels like we're going to see like skits, you know, Shotzi and Nox. It sounds like a women's like crime show. What was the one, Hardcastle and McCall? No, that was two guys. What was the women show, the cop show back in the 80s? I know someone out there is as old as me that will remember, but Shotzi and Nox, Cagney. Well, you said Carney and Lacey, Dorian, but I'll correct you. Cagney and Lacey. I think it's Cagney and Lacey. I like Blackheart. Remember, I'm one of the original Blackhearts. You know, 20 years ago, the Blackheart Sports Entertainment Hotline was in full effect. We were the Blackhearts. So I'm the original Blackheart, one of the originals. They wrestled Tamina and Natty today. Anyone feel like Zelina Vega is the new Lana? Doesn't it feel like Zelina Vega is going to be fed not plates of shit and not table shots, but does it feel like, okay, now batting for Nia Jax, Tamina. Now batting for Lana, Zelina Vega. Something tells me Zelina Vega is going to get knocked on her ass numerous times in the upcoming weeks. So, yes, VJ, okay. I give you that. Owen Hart is the original Blackheart. Owen Hart was doing that. Whoa, wait, whoa. Yeah, you're right, because we didn't start doing the Blackheart Sports Entertainment Hotline until 1999. So, yeah, Owen Hart is the original Blackheart. We will give that to him. Absolutely. Wow, Harris, props to you, man. Throwing out a Keith Blackheart reference. That guy's old school. You know who Keith Blackheart is? You got much love for me, man. He was an OG back in the day. Back in the day with our hotlines. But Shotzi and Nox get another win over Tamina and Natty. This time around, we had Liv Morgan on commentary along with Zelina Vega. And the commentary was meant to be annoying and basically what happened was Liv Morgan puts the headset down, Zelina, they start brawling outside the ring. At one point, Liv, I even think, went into the ring for a second. That was to set up the distraction, unintentional distraction. Natty is looking the wrong way, and we get the fruit roll-up. Natty and Tamina lose once again. Shotzi and Nox get the win. So they are in line for a tag team title shot. It's nice to see them on the main roster. One thing you have to really agree with when you compare the WWE women to AEW women, it's totally unfair to compare the talent level, because AEW is still a new promotion, growing, and a lot of their women talent that are on Dark and sometimes Elevation, you know, they still have years to go. But the one thing that really separates the two, besides, as far as the depth and the talent and the longevity of a lot of the careers, is just the visual. I mean, if you look at a majority, and this is, I know a lot of you are going to say, no shit, Captain Obvious, but you really got to think about it sometimes. If you look at the WWE women's roster, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, a majority of those women have very, very, very colorful attire. And if it's not their attire, their hair color, this one has green hair, this one has purple, this one has pink, this one has blue, this one, I don't know what color that is, this one is this. Each one has a very unique look to themselves. Then you have women like Aaliyah, Tegan Knox, and others that, don't have that unique look. So something else obviously has to click. And in the case of Tegan Knox, it's her character, her charisma, how well-liked she is. I don't know if Tegan Knox could ever be on the Bayley level as far as popularity goes, but she is very well-liked by wrestling fans. So, seeing them get this opportunity, I'm fine with it. But to get on the main roster, I mean, there's got to be some really outstanding, unique quality about it. Even Toni Storm. Toni Storm is going to debut next week on SmackDown. That's something to look forward to. Toni Storm will make her debut. You look at Toni Storm's look, I mean, I know a lot of you out there appreciate a certain body part of hers, ass. Me, I mean, I'm into brunettes. I'm not into blondes. And right now there's only one brunette I care about. There she is. But Toni Storm next week, man, I know those releases, you felt bad for those people. But you got Finn Balor back. You're about to get Becky Lynch back. Who knows? Maybe she'll be on Raw. She'll be with her husband. You think of some of the other wrestlers that are going to be coming back. Very quickly, those releases don't seem like they're making that much effect. There's no voids if you look at it. So after the match and the after match beatdowns, Liv Morgan talking about winning Money in the Bank Sunday, getting a lot of "you deserve a" chance. I tell you the truth, I like my scenario I said earlier. When it comes time to predictions, maybe I'll have a last minute change. I just close my eyes and I just can't picture the visual of Liv Morgan winning the briefcase. Not yet. I think we just had the first show back with fans. I think let it develop a little bit more. Let her singles career really start to shine. Why rush to make this decision now? I personally feel there's no reason to rush Liv Morgan. If you like her, if you wouldn't have a problem with that, then there's nothing wrong with just waiting a little bit more and then make this opportunity feel that much more special or bigger. There's too many people making returns and people are in current positions that she's not going to leapfrog. Look at Cesaro. Look at Cesaro. We all knew what was going to happen. I mean, we had that fear all along. Soon as that match with Roman Reigns was going to be over, remember before they even had that match on the pay-per-view, what did we all say? That after the match is over, it's almost like WWE said, "You happy all now? You happy? We gave you what you want. Now let's put Cesaro back to mid-card." That's what it feels like. Now they have him feuding with Otis. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm looking further ahead, and I want to see a feud with Finn Balor and Cesaro. I wouldn't mind seeing that. But Cesaro is right now being limited to Otis. Earlier today, we had a backstage segment, Otis and Chad. They're talking about last week and talking about how there's names, people ducking him. Cesaro shows up, and Cesaro's like, I appreciate that you didn't have my name on the list. And basically, Chad Gable's like, I didn't even think about you. Ooh, ow, twist that knife in the heart. Didn't even think about you to put you on the list. But then Chad says, but you know what? Congratulations. You got Otis's attention now. And I tell you, man, I know what everybody has been saying. And I agree with you. Why didn't they do this with Otis when they first turned him heel? Why didn't they shave the beard months and months and months ago? Why didn't they do this like really, really pissed off, almost like bully Otis? And I am total agreement with you. Then I thought about it last week, even though we didn't have a show, and I said, well, I think I understand why. Because you do it with the live fans. If you shaved the beard 4, 5, 6 months ago, then everybody's already used to that Otis. So now with live fans back, okay, now we're going to go to the second gear with Otis. Shave his beard, make him an angry bitch, to say it nicely. And that punch that he gave to Cesaro, I mean, it looked beautiful on TV. And then he just is like, the guy's a beast. The guy's a beast. You bump into him in a store, excuse me, if you really want to, just going to go like this and you'll fly across the room. You'll be in aisle 20. So when he just pushed Cesaro back into that, random props, I mean, it looked awesome on TV. So it really, I fucking love what they're doing with Otis right now. I know there's a lot of people out there that they still look at, before pandemic, Otis carrying Mandy Rose to the back and doing that segment from what? Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And now they're looking at it now. Stop comparing the two. They need Otis as a big-ass heel. He'll turn baby face down the line. I love what I'm seeing right now with Otis, man. I love it. Yeah, we could see Otis versus Bronson Reed soon. Sure, why not? So Otis has a match with Cesaro today. Cesaro gets the win due to disqualification. Chad Gable hits the ring. Cesaro did the Cesaro swing to Gable. He did not do it to Otis. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. We should do a contest in the near future. How many swings do we think Cesaro could do with Otis? I'm thinking 7. And 7 may even be a lot. But I'm telling you, do not underestimate how good Otis is right now. I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Bianca Belair versus Carmella. Before the match, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, tried to get Bianca Belair's attention. She ignored him. Crowd was chanting EST all throughout the match. I will continue my praise for Carmella. She has gotten a lot better over the last year or two. She has really, truly worked hard. I know, that still a lot of people don't care for her, but she backs it up a little bit in the ring. I didn't think there was any question. I mean, of course, Carmella was not winning this belt, but they had a competitive match, and towards the end, Carmella, tried to use Bianca's hair. Not really, just holding her hair and giving some kicks. But she tries to go for the super kick. Bianca blocks it. They're trying to keep recreating that whip that Bianca did with her hair to Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. Without that, it doesn't win the ESPYs moment. That just the audible of that shot is what did it for everyone. Unfortunately, though, especially when you're wearing gear, it's got to be in the right position. Otherwise, it really does not make much of a sound. And Bianca hit Carmella, whipped her with it. Really didn't make much of a sound, but hit the KOD for the win. And the crowd loved it. Absolutely loved it. I don't think Bianca Belair really needs the match at the pay-per-view. I really don't think she needs it. we got to see what happens with her next feud, and I'm still convinced it's going to be Sasha Banks. I still think that's where they're going. And you know what? With live fans back, you can take your time with this. She's over. She had a great match tonight with Carmella. So no need, the storyline with Bayley just went up in smoke. So why force a match on the pay-per-view with Carmella? I got to be honest with you. I thought that WWE did a good job for the last week making that match tonight feel a little bit more important. So she's off this pay-per-view, no problem. We got SummerSlam on the horizon, and she will have a very important match at SummerSlam. Baron Corbin comes out, all disheveled. And yes, it was only a matter of time we were going to get the troll chance. Expect more what chance to come back? I don't care. Just fun to feel that energy. See the fans having a great time. It resonates at home. But Corbin trying to get sympathy with the fans, that he's got a lot of bills. They had to get rid of the maids. If things keep up, instead of having Wagyu beef, he's going to have to eat out of a can. Now, some of you out there tonight, I saw your comments like, what the hell is Wagyu beef? I actually do have a pair of Wagyu steaks in my freezer behind me. A lot of people don't know. That is a food freezer. I have a cover over it, because I try to keep like a background and I try to keep everything, level. But that actually is a food freezer. Remember with the early episodes when I went to YouTube? I think the food freezer was over here. And people are like, what does he have, like dead bodies in that food freezer? I have not tried it yet, but it's supposed to be a really, really high quality steak. I ordered it from some steak place online, not Omaha. I don't remember the name of the company. You know what it was? Thrive Market. I ordered Wagyu steaks from Thrive Market. They actually had a pretty good deal one time. But Corbin trying to get sympathy, and he announces that he's launched a website, CorbinFund.com. Again, it's not a real donation site. He wants to raise $100,000 so he could pay off some bills. And if you go on that website, you'll see that picture. Nothing else. I don't think they'll set up links. They're not going to start doing donations. I don't think they would. But Kevin Owens' music hits. Corbin is telling Kevin Owens, I know you got money, help someone out. I tell you, man, I do not like Corbin still. Remember, we were going to do Corbin Demolition Night last year. That never amounted to anything. Corbin is one of the very few people that still have me blocked on social media. Most everyone else has already removed it because now they're seeing, he ain't such a dick after all. But Corbin in this character, getting a little sympathy, I think it's actually working a little bit. And as much as I don't like his character, I thought he did a great job tonight, sounding like the conceited, like male Karen that, instead of trying to like go out and get work, like everybody, please help me out. Please, I need money. I only need $100,000. Like he wants to keep that lifestyle, but doesn't want to work for it. Do you see where that's going? So he's almost begging Kevin Owens. Yeah, he could do cameos. In fact, he might even be on Cameo. I would not pay for it. In fact, you know what they should do? He should put, they should put a cameo up there. Help me out, buy a cameo. They wouldn't do that on TV, though. I don't think they would do that on TV. But Kevin Owens ends up stunning Corbin. And now we're up to the main event, the four-way. And the fatal four-way match, it was Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke versus Seth Rollins versus Big E. And, Rick Boogs, I like that the crowd gave him a good reaction. And yes, it's because of who he's with. They're into Shinsuke. They want to serenade the music. You think even Pat McAfee tonight is like, let them continue. But the match was fun. And I'm telling you, that energy, the live fans, I'm sure a table spot was planned, But to see Kevin Owens climb all the way to the top of a ladder and do an elbow onto Shinsuke through the announcer's table, that was a holy shit chant. That was a legit holy shit chant. That will be a moment that we'll remember all year long. In the end, Seth Rollins gets the win. Now, earlier tonight, I got to add this because remember, I still think Seth Rollins is going to take on Edge at SummerSlam. Edge had 2 interview segments backstage tonight. First one was right after the match took place. Later on, he was talking about how he's got to be a maniacal son of a bitch on Sunday. And here comes Seth Rollins in the back, loving his outfits, laughing up a storm. And he said that he is going to be rooting for Edge on Sunday. And he basically, he said that he's going to do what he should have done 7 years ago. That when he put his boot on Edge's neck, he should have completed the job. I think he might have even said, I should have shot that bullet, or whatever it was. Not as direct as Malachi Black from Wednesday, but it did a good enough job. So does Seth Rollins interfere Sunday? I don't know. It could end up being similar to the Cesaro route. Edge loses, then Seth Rollins beats the shit out of Edge. That leads to SummerSlam. But tonight, Seth Rollins gets the win. He pins Big E. And this was right after Kevin Owens putting Shinsuke through a table. And they show Rollins lifting the briefcase off, while on the top of the ladder. Lifts it off the hook, and we go off the air with them trying to convince us that Seth Rollins has a shot at winning Money in the Bank. By the way, with that Corbin stuff, it was funny too. He said that if things don't get better, he might have to move in with his wife's parents. And the crowd, it was funny because the crowd reaction was pretty like, no, that's fucked up. Oh, no one wants that to happen to him. In their basement, I might add. In their basement. Big shout out to everybody who is live right now. I noticed my microphone was falling down a little bit. And if you're enjoying the show, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. So now, let's do the contest. Get your fingers ready. Do not do it yet, because believe me, the chat room is live, and when we watch the show back, everything will be synced up. So we will know exactly who typed too early and who didn't. So tonight I'm going to give away this autographed Finn Balor card on the left. As you see, it is limited. Oh, I can zoom in. All right. Sometimes this software, see, it's limited to 50. And this is number 5 of 50. That is from my collection. It is in mint condition. In fact, you want to know something? I'm not kidding when I say this. Somebody has that card on eBay right now. He'll never get this. But what he did was he sent it out for it to get graded. And it got graded 10. And he's selling it for $850 on eBay right now. Maybe he'll get $300-400 for it if it's graded at 10. But hey, send it out and get graded. You can make money off it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'd rather see someone out there enjoy it. So someone tonight is going to win that card. And again, I was going to do it in the comment section, but I was like, no, you know what? This is for everybody who hung out with me live tonight. You deserve it. So here's the deal. Don't do it yet. All you got to do is predict what the SmackDown rating will be. Now, don't forget who is the master. Oh, no. That was from October of 2019. My ratings prediction for the first ever SmackDown on Fox was 3.85 million. That is timestamped. It is on Twitter. And the actual rating was 3.86 million. I was off by less than 1,000 viewers. So let's see if someone out there could get as close. Do not write it yet, King, because until I say go, anybody that types something right now, it's not going to It's not going to be registered. And in fact, before I say go, I'm actually going to say what the last comment I see on the chat. This way, everything below that comment, or better yet, I just figured it out. Wait a minute. No, I got an idea. I'm sorry for those on audio only, but I am actually typing something in the chat right now. It is not entered yet, but when I enter this, any entries below my comment will be the ones that will be accepted. I just figured, that's easy. Okay. So all you got to do is guess the SmackDown rating. Whoever comes closest to the SmackDown rating wins that card. I don't care if you're over the rating. I don't care if you're under the rating. Whoever comes the closest. Now, the overnight rating will probably come out tomorrow. We're talking about the final rating, which should come in Monday, I would think. Should be Monday. So whoever comes closest to predicting now, for anybody that is asking, what do I think the rating will be? Now, remember, the first ever SmackDown on Fox, I predicted 3.85 million, and it was 3.86 million. That's not even 2 years ago. And it's a shame how far down SmackDown their rating has become. Yes, we're in COVID still, special circumstances. I think their rating, I can't go above 3 million. I just can't. I can't picture 1 million extra viewers tuning in simply because live fans are back. Yes, there was a lot of rumors that Becky Lynch was going to appear tonight. There were a lot of rumors that Sasha Banks could make her return tonight. So I'm sure the curiosity factor of tuning in definitely comes into play today. But if I say 3 million, I think it's too high. I'm going to go with 2,876,000. 2,876,000. I'm probably way low, but that's what I'm going to come up with. So, Charlie, take your Delta variant and put it where and shoot that up your ass, because I'm part of Team Vaccine. Like I said, I don't ever force the vaccination on anybody. If you don't want to get it, I respect it. But the fact that so many people are vaccinated is the reason why we have live fans back. The fact that so many people are vaccinated is the reason why you could go a lot of places and have a little bit more freedom. You're not going to shut down the world because 33 or 40% of people out there won't take the shot because they don't believe in it or they don't trust it. I mean, I totally understand the fears, but you got to understand something. If you don't trust the vaccine, anywhere you go, you got to be careful that you don't get sick. That's it, plain and simple. I saw people tonight on SmackDown wearing masks. There are people that are wearing masks because they're afraid. This virus is serious shit. But, if you're vaccinated, you're pretty much immune from getting seriously ill from it or sick. And that's it, I mean, variants are around, COVID cases are up. Yeah, it's because, there's enough people that haven't been vaccinated yet. And here's the deal. When you go to a WWE event, you don't know if the person sitting next to you is vaccinated or not. So if you say, okay, everybody who is vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, but everybody who's not vaccinated needs to wear a mask. You know how many people that are walking around, they're like, fuck that, I'm not wearing a mask. You're in a club, hanging out, everybody who's vaccinated is going to wear a mask. You think somebody wants to try to pick up with half their face covered? People they just blend in with everyone else. So look, that's what happens with a free country. You have the freedom to make choices. You're in a bad neighborhood. You have the freedom to go into that bad neighborhood wearing jewelry like Mr. T, flaunting money out in the street. I think I'm having Italian ice. Could you break in $1,000 bill? You have the freedom to do stupid shit. You'll pay the price for it, but you have that freedom. So hopefully I don't have to say this again. Now let's do SmackDown. Money in the Bank predictions. SmackDown. Oh, the contest. All right. You all ready? Don't hit enter yet. I am going to post something now on the chat. It'll say go. And once that is posted, anybody's entries, you see Sev, you're too soon. I didn't post it yet. So if Sev ends up being right, too soon. Now, he could type it again, but any entries above my name are not accepted. So everybody, type your prediction. Don't hit enter yet. Remember, it's the first person who comes the closest. So you want to get yours in there as quickly as possible. And people are still not listening. I'm going to type something right now. My metal keyboard, I'm going to hit this button. And when it hits enter and you see go in big letters, that's when you hit your entry. Are we ready? Go. Let's see it flood. Let's see the entries flood. Type your entries. Hurry up. Andre, vamos. Andre, come on. You got to do it fast. Let's go. You got to be one of the first entries. There we go. Oh, there we go. See, now let me also be clear. When you go 3.1 million, that is 3,100,000. Some of you, what you may want to do out there, if you want, I'm not trying to coach anybody, but if you see a lot of people doing 3,100,000, you put 3,106,000. See? It's like eBay. But now here's another thing. If you put multiple entries, I got to take your first one. So you can't type 2.8 million and then 10 seconds later type 2.9 million. I take your first entry. So keep going. Keep going. So I could continue the show. You could still type your entries. There's no, just the longer you wait, the less of a chance because there's other people typing the entry before you. So, and this is only open to the live viewers. I apologize, but we're not taking any in the comment section. We did a contest yesterday that you could still be part of. Somebody next Wednesday is going to win this autographed Matt Hardy photo. They're also going to win a Matt Hardy shirt, and they're going to win a cameo video from Matt Hardy. Somebody's going to win all three next Wednesday. All you got to do is check out yesterday's show. You still have time to enter. It costs nothing. And we will announce a winner live next Wednesday. Now, you'll have to be live to claim your prize because tomorrow everybody is going to determine how long you have before you could claim your prize. Once we pick the winner next week, you probably have 60 seconds to just go in the chat room and say, I'm here, claim my prize, and it's yours. So, if you retract, if I see anybody retracting an entry, then your retraction is the one I take. Yeah, I mean, somebody's going to type 5 entries and then retract the first 4 once the rating comes out. No. And believe me when I tell you, I will be here the moment the rating comes out. So the moment the rating comes out, I will post it and announce the winner. So trust me. And honestly, if people start trying to, get around it, although I credit you for the creativity, then we won't do contests like that again. So anyway, I know you're just kidding, Harris. I appreciate creativity like that, man. Seriously. All right. Money in the Bank predictions. The kickoff show. We'll have the Mysterios defending the SmackDown tag titles against the Usos. Even though it seems like Jimmy Uso is not being penalized because of what happened with the DUI, I understand you're innocent until proven guilty, and it could very well end up being that the charges are dropped against him. There's still video of him drinking and getting behind the wheel, and that's unacceptable. So I would be surprised, extremely surprised, if the Usos get the tag belts this quick, especially after what happened. So I say the Mysterios will retain the championships. I don't see the Usos having gold. The Mysterios will retain. I'll say this also about these predictions. I have a feeling a lot of you are going to agree with me on this too. This pay-per-view is not that hard to predict if we end up being right. Some of this seems extremely obvious as far as the outcomes. But hey, if I am way off on my predictions, sometimes that's a good thing, because when you don't expect things to happen, that sometimes is when wrestling is more fun. When it's too predictable, sometimes that's not good either. I don't see the Viking Raiders taking the tag titles off of AJ Styles and Omos. Omos impressed me this past Monday with his first singles match. AJ and Omos, they clicked really, really nicely as a tag team. I think SummerSlam, the match is Riddle and Orton versus AJ and Omos. I don't see the Viking Raiders versus Orton and Riddle. Could happen, but I just don't see the Viking Raiders getting the tag titles. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles and Omos to retain. Okay. This is interesting. I will tell you right off the bat, thank God Eva Marie is not in this match. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Could you imagine if she goes into Money in the Bank undefeated as far as not being pinned? Or maybe doesn't even get in the ring to wrestle even for a minute and just climbs up and grabs the briefcase? She could have the briefcase and not wrestle for 1 second. Thank God it didn't turn out that way. But Alexa Bliss, I could picture some fuckery, but they have kind of, well, they have moved away from a lot of the sci-fi effects. So if they would have kept it in full force, I could see Alexa Bliss, somebody's climbing the rope, the ladder, about to get the briefcase. Alexa Bliss climbs the other side of the ladder, and all she's got to do is do one of these. And then she goes like this, and the person falls backwards, and she just grabs the briefcase and wins. I think that would suck. I think that would suck badly. Tamina and Natty, I don't see any reason for them to get it. They're tag champs still, so they're out of it. Nikki Ash, I know a lot of fans would root for that. Just picture her going around every week with the briefcase. That would be pretty sweet. Just something is holding me back with the Nikki Ash stuff. I think her being a superhero without any briefcase, I think, is easier to manage. So I don't think Nikki Ash. Liv Morgan, I don't think the time is right. I don't think the time is right. There's no reason to rush Liv Morgan. And even if she does get it, what is she going to do? Tease Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley? They'll laugh at her. Does she feel like a threat for those titles? No. Too soon for Liv Morgan. Naomi, unfortunately, it feels like she's in a little bit of a rut. Zelina Vega, I don't think there's any chance whatsoever that she's getting it this soon. So that leaves Asuka. If Asuka is in the match and they don't do what I said earlier about Becky Lynch, I think Asuka wins it. I think possibly Becky Lynch, if she does return and return quickly, I could see Asuka giving Becky Lynch the briefcase. I know some of you hate the idea, but I'm giving it to you. Last year, you gave me the title. I'm giving this to you. You go for the title. I see that. It's probably not going to happen, but I like to think outside the box. So I'm going to... I don't think part of Zelina's contract signing was she's promised a briefcase. Is she going to cosplay? She could cosplay as being a briefcase. Seriously, she could walk around dressed as a briefcase, a sexy briefcase. But I'm going to go with Asuka winning it. I think the fans would love it. Asuka giving the briefcase to Becky Lynch based on last year, I could see that happening. So I'm going to go with Asuka winning. But if Asuka steps away and Becky Lynch is in this match, I go with Becky Lynch getting that briefcase. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I have to stick with what I've been saying for the last month and a half. Big E is winning this thing. Big E, if they're going to have him take on Lashley, the draft is not taking place until October. We're only in the middle of July. The easiest way to get Big E against Bobby Lashley is if he has this briefcase. You don't have to wait for him to be drafted to Raw. He could show up on Raw with the briefcase. I think Bobby Lashley, and I'm sorry for jumping a little ahead with the prediction, but I have to say this because it kind of intertwines with it. I think Bobby Lashley, maybe after he defeats Kofi, does an after-match beatdown and gets extremely violent. Big E will be at the pay-per-view, obviously, so I could see Big E and Xavier Woods coming out because of what he did, and I could see a stare down with Big E and Bobby Lashley, and I think that's when the reality will kick in for everyone out there. Like, holy shit, Big E could cash in and go against Lashley. That's the easiest way you could put that guy on Raw without using a draft. Now, some of you out there have come up with the idea, what if Big E cashed in on Sunday? That would be interesting. Although I think Bobby Lashley as a heel and the champion, that needs a slow burn. I think you have Big E versus Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. I know all of those reports of Goldberg versus Lashley at SummerSlam. I don't base my news discussion on tweets. If it becomes an announced match, then I'll react to it. Why should I tweet it now? What, to get 75 likes? What did that do for me? Am I going to vape after? Oh my God, I feel like I came. I get so much reaction and love. I feel good. I feel so good. I got to take a shower. I feel dirty now. What the fuck? I'll wait for them to announce the match, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. I think Big E versus Lashley is the bigger SummerSlam match. You're going to have 70-something thousand people there? Why wouldn't you do that? So I'm going to stick. Yeah, all right, Goldberg will be on Raw Monday. Fine. If he's on Monday, cool. Like I said yesterday, Goldberg lost to Drew McIntyre in 3 minutes. And leading up to that match, there were some people that tweeted 10, 20, 30 times about Goldberg and invested all of this crazy-ass energy complaining about Goldberg. And in the end, he wrestled a 3-minute match and lost. I don't think people should be investing that much time on something like this. He shows up on Raw, fine. So what? I like Goldberg. I don't mind a little nostalgia on my TV. As long as he doesn't become the focal point, and as long as he isn't doing anything that sucks on TV, but WWE's going to push it anyway, I don't mind. I know I could go on Twitter right now and say, Goldberg, I'm sick of him. It's finally time to retire. Go play with your son. Go play with yourself. Go do this. Go do that. You know, they didn't learn their lesson with Goldberg and Undertaker, and just sit there and shower and all, DT, totally agree with you. No, man. I like a little nostalgia. I like a little bit of history, if they could still go, as long as it's in moderation. Fuck that. Fuck it. Now, if Goldberg does something on TV and it sucks, yeah. I mean, I think people forget how much I ripped the shit out of him versus Undertaker in Saudi Arabia, although I did feel bad for him because he got knocked out. You know, you get knocked out. And then 2 minutes later, hey, come on, we got to go. You'd be like, so let's see what happens. But as far as this Money in the Bank goes, I think Big E takes it. I think Morrison and Ricochet will cancel each other out. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with Riddle. Drew McIntyre, he'll probably be climbing up that ladder towards the very end of it, and something is going to happen. Nakamura, he is what he is. I mean, some of these guys are in there because they have some pretty kick-ass ladder matches. This is going to be a physical confrontation, but I say Big E in the end wins it. And don't forget the scenario I teased 3 weeks ago, although it's not going to happen. I just said, could you imagine if Kofi defeated Bobby Lashley and then Big E teased that he's going to take on his brother? And Kofi's like, yeah, you're joking. You hear me see it? And then Big E gets a little pissed off at that. And Big E's like, oh, man. I mean, I know he doesn't talk like that, but you imagine if they ever did Big E versus Kofi for the title? I think that would be pretty ballsy, but I don't think that's going anywhere. I think Lashley doing what, see, it's a continuation of the storyline. See, tonight, they showed Edge choking out Roman Reigns and the Usos with that pipe, and they had the pictures right next to each other. Bobby Lashley already beat the shit out of Xavier. Xavier got his win back, but he beat the shit out of Xavier to a point where Kofi cut his promo. He felt really, really uncomfortable to see his brother-in-arms getting beat up like that. Now it's Kofi's turn to get his ass handed to him very violently, where Big E, it gets pissed off, and then Big E is the one to go up with Lashley. In the end, every member of New Day is going to get a win on Bobby Lashley. It just so happens that Big E is probably the one that'll get the win when the title is on the line. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. I know a lot of you out there are not fans of Charlotte. I am. And I know there's always that worry that Charlotte is going to be around gold, always wearing gold. I think with this storyline, they tried to do more than anything is that Rhea Ripley is just trying to beat Charlotte at her own game. If you notice, they are really starting the slow burn of bringing Rhea Ripley back as a babyface. There are some of you out there that are convinced Rhea Ripley is going to get booed out of the building on Sunday. First of all, you're going to hear a lot of fans going, woo! That's by default when a Flair is in the ring. I think enough fans will cheer Rhea Ripley. And I would not be surprised if there is a backstage interview with Rhea Ripley earlier in the night where she says something complimentary to the fans. It's wonderful to have fans back. She might say something early on to plant that seed like, oh, she digs us. In the end, Rhea Ripley retains. I know her championship reign has not been all that good. WWE fucked with the character. What she was in NXT is not the character that she is on Raw, but there's plenty of time to repair that. So I am going to go with Rhea Ripley to retain. Although I am a huge Charlotte fan. I'm rooting for Charlotte, but I got to go with Rhea Ripley. Just as I said a few moments ago, Bobby Lashley will retain the championship against Kofi Kingston. This is going to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more violent, Bobby Lashley. Kofi will have his moments that, will be 1 millimeter away of getting the win. But I think in the end, Bobby Lashley gets the win, and that will not be enough. After the match is over, I think Bobby Lashley beats down on Kofi and does a lot of unnecessary things, gets very, very pissed off, might even get pissed off at MVP. And we got to see if Big E comes out there, because I'm telling you, if Big E wins that briefcase earlier and Lashley retains and he starts beating the shit out of Kofi and Big E comes out there, first of all, it would look kind of stupid if Big E comes out there with the briefcase in his hand. If you're running to the ring to tend to your fallen friend, like, oh, no, but give me a briefcase first. That would look kind of goofy, but it almost feels necessary. Because Big E could be tending to his friend and Bobby Lashley's in the corner just looking at it. Now the fans put 2 and 2 together and say, whoa, wait a minute, briefcase. And Big E cashes in right then and there. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think you save it for SummerSlam, but I could see a confrontation like that. So I say Bobby Lashley retains. Main event, well, one of the main events. Roman Reigns will retain this championship. It's interesting. I did a poll in the community section, which I got to utilize a lot more. Never knew it existed for the first year, by the way. But I did a poll with all of you out there, and I said, what if I told you Roman Reigns remains champion until WrestleMania? And I think it was about like 65 to 70% of you said, I'm fine with that. Roman Reigns has been champion already 300 days. Yes, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and a lot of it has been stretched out, watered down, smoke and mirrors. But we're now past that. Now we kick it into second gear. Roman Reigns coming out today, holding that belt in the air, all the fireworks, the entrance, the pyro, everything he says in the ring, you do not change that just when you have fans back in attendance. You milk that son of a bitch for months. Roman Reigns will keep that belt for the foreseeable future. If Cena ends up taking him on at SummerSlam, fine. If it ends up being someone else, fine. But in my opinion, you do not take this title off of Roman Reigns right now. There is no reason to. If it's not broken, don't fix it. The crowd reaction tonight showed they are really into Reigns. A lot of cheers, a lot of boos, but they were active. See, back in the day, a lot of Roman Reigns stuff was negative or worse, indifference. The one thing you don't want to have with a heavyweight champion is wrestling and the fans don't even react. There was so much of a buzz tonight with Roman Reigns. That's going to carry on to the next show and the next super show and the next pay-per-view. You do not take away from that right now. Roman Reigns does not need to be screwed out of the title. There's not the Edge, as much as I am happy that he is back and he is in full force, I still think Edge versus Seth Rollins is the way to go for SummerSlam. Shout out to This Is Pro Wrestling. Shout out to Greg in Brooklyn, Charlie Conway, Psycho 187, Mike from New York, Austin Nance, Ken terminated by DQ, Benjamin, Phil. That is your Money in the Bank predictions. I am very excited for this pay-per-view, not just because live fans are back. I mean, it's going to build up on that energy every time somebody climbs the ladder. But, you know, if you base your predictions on what I said, you know, the only title change that I see is the 24/7 championship. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of 24/7 title changes. Maybe somebody shows up that we don't expect and wins the 24/7 title. I think that could very well happen. It's going to be a good pay-per-view. It really is. And we'll be around Sunday night to talk about it. So, before I close this out with Slammiversary predictions, because, you know, we got to talk about that because Kenny Omega's Impact Wrestling Championship title reign could be coming to a close in less than 24 hours. Reign Entertainment, oh, that's from yesterday. Nero Fay, that's from yesterday. Edwin is from yesterday. Puffy89, showing love before work. Going for his first COVID shot tomorrow. Wanted to give it some time. Now it's time. Much love, my friend. You know, just be aware of any side effects. You get a little bit of cold chills. You know, what I did was I took aspirin right before I got the shot, and I took it like every 3 hours afterwards. Helped a little bit, you know, but me, looking back on it, I wouldn't change a damn thing. I got vaccinated in February. I am going to get a blood test in about a week or two just to see what level of antibodies I have inside me, just to make sure that I'm still pretty protected. But that goes out to everyone out there. Seriously, if you have not been vaccinated yet and you don't feel it's the right time, all I say is be careful. Just be careful. You know, enjoy your life, enjoy whatever you do. Just be careful because the person next to you could have it and you don't realize it. And the last thing you want to do is get sick from this shit. I know people who died from it. I know customers that I lost because of it. I know some people who recovered. I know some people that still have little issues here and there. For me, having some side effects from the shot was, more, to me, better than getting COVID itself. So good luck to you. Good luck to you. Roger Rubio talking about Edge's pop tonight, gave him goosebumps. Tell you, makes us feel spoiled back even in the, not even the Attitude Era, but the Ruthless Aggression Era. I mean, guy got some crazy-ass pops back then as well. I mean, it's just that we haven't heard a reaction like that, an authentic reaction like that in a very long time. And it feels good. It feels good. You know, there's just something about it that just really translates at home. And, you know, we wouldn't watch wrestling on the TV with the volume completely off. You know what I mean? It's just, tonight was a lot of fun. Now WWE, it's the challenge with them to continue giving us quality programming that gives the fans a reason to be this excited. SmackDown has been a better show than Raw, no question. So now, you know, the same people that write for SmackDown, they now have to step up with Raw. And I think they will. I think they will. Little bit for everyone. That's why, like I said, with the Goldberg stuff, again, his involvement is going to be this much of the show. So a little bit for everyone. Can't just be just for the flippy people out there. It can't be just for the anti-flippy out there. It can't just be for this. Can't just be the people who live vicariously through Roman Reigns or others. You know, it's got to be a little bit for everyone. And Roger wants everybody to smash that thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. So do I. Brian Becerra, tonight's SmackDown was fine, seeing a live crowd and all. In his opinion, he enjoyed Dynamite just a bit more. I totally respect that. You know, look, there's a lot of SmackDown that people, you're not going to suddenly like. If you've been despising Rollins, you're not going to suddenly like the guy simply because crowds are popping. You know, if you don't like Corbin, you're not going to like him suddenly because the crowds are doing what chants on him or trolling him. You know, WWE has to up their game. And I think we're going to realize very quickly that WWE held back. Now, we might get a little annoyed at that. In a month from now, you're going to say, man, did WWE hold back, like giving us good shit on TV because live fans weren't back yet. I mean, you're going to see returns. You're going to see surprise. You're going to be like, man, they waited till fans came back to give us all that stuff. Yeah, that's what a smart company does. Look at AEW, since you brought up AEW. Hangman Page. Hangman Page, they waited till live fans return to go balls out with Hangman Page. Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is a character that is meant for live fans there and a lot of live fans. And now they're back. And now some of these characters will get a little bit of extra push. So, yeah, I mean, they're two totally different products. No reason why you can't like both. I say this a trillion times. If you're a big AEW fan, be proud of it. Do not hold back because a whole bunch of people are going to jump down your throat. That's what the mute button is for. If you don't want to be rude and block people, mute them. Mute them. I have a lot of people blocked on Twitter, but I have a lot of people muted. And I kind of feel a little creepy about it. You know, I feel like a creep. But, you know, they talk to me all the time on there. They respond to my stuff, and I don't see it. And then I'll get a DM or an email message. Hey, bro, you know, did you see what I wrote yesterday? And I ignore that too. Some people, you have to do that too. You know, and if you're a WWE fan and you can't stand AEW, be proud you're a WWE fan. You like Charlotte, you like someone else that a lot of people don't. Don't ever feel that you have to be in a fucking closet hiding from telling people that you're a fan of this, a fan of that. You know, people are going to be that rude to you. Those people should not be on your wall, in your inner circle. King of Games. Tomorrow will be 10 years since CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank. Do I have any memories of that? We just hit 10 years of his pipe bomb. I actually, what I'll do is I will post online for everybody. Maybe I'll do it over the weekend. If not, next week, I'll post the podcast that I did the night after Money in the Bank, so you could hear my actual reaction from 10 years ago. At the time, my reaction was, he was signed with WWE already. The idea of him leaving with the belt, the Ring of Honor, and this and that, it was great. It was fun. WWE putting the title behind him over Cena was great. There was one major fatal flaw, in my opinion, with that whole storyline. And if I post some of my podcasts, if I post a week after and 2 weeks after that, Money in the Bank, you'll hear me say it then, and I have not changed my view 1% since then. When they had CM Punk confront Triple H at some Comic-Con or something like that, that was just awful. The footage was fun. I thought it was entertaining. But in storyline purposes, you realized immediately that he was signed already to a deal. And when you leave, you disappear for long enough time where people are like, holy shit, this guy really is gone. They tried to, do where Cena took on Mysterio, I think for the belt or something, and then you had two titles, and then they both fought each other. The minute CM Punk had that confrontation with Triple H, and it wasn't even 2 weeks after Money in the Bank, I thought that's where they had a fatal flaw. They were rushing it too fast. And yeah, it was only a week after that. A week. Now, yes, with the most prized possession in WWE, you don't want the person to disappear for a month and not do anything with it. You have Vince McMahon making, big decisions. Wasn't it around that time also? I love you, Dad, or whatever it was. Wasn't that when Vince was relieved of his duties around this time? I think we're approaching an anniversary of that too. But I loved the match. I thought one of my favorite matches at that time, and it still holds up to this day. I just didn't like the 2 or 3 weeks, 1 to 3 weeks that followed. That confrontation was way too soon, and that kind of killed a little bit of the suspension of disbelief for me. So, but great question. We'll definitely, like I said, relive part of that. You could check out my reaction, from the shows from that time. AS7607, what's up? She's currently dealing with a family emergency and watching the show to distract herself. She did join Patreon last night to support the show. Oh, welcome aboard. You got hundreds of Patreon episodes there. Hundreds. I think Mish and I were up to episode like 147. Every episode is up there. You got ad-free episodes of everything that goes on. Kevin Castle still has content up there. No, we didn't kick him off. There's some out there that like his work, so, there's no reason to, change that at the present time. We're not looking to change it either, want to be clear. But, there's a lot of wide array of content there. And if any of you out there want to check it out, patreon.com/Don Tony. I don't plug it much because I don't like making things like as a money grab. I mean, if you notice, I appreciate everybody who could, helps me, whether it's financial or just promoting the shows, letting other people know about it. But I try to give back as much as I possibly can. If I have some prizes and I can do that, I'll share it. I'd like to see some of you enjoy it. Obviously, I'm not going to give away everything, but at the same time, though, it's a give and take. And there's a lot of people out there who will just take. And for me, it'll always be a two-way street. And the fact that you all still hang out, man, what made me feel old? I wrote yesterday that on my bucket list is I want to meet Vince McMahon and shake his hand and thank him for all the years of, filling my void. There's a lot of void for me as well. Wrestling filled voids for me over the years. And it made me feel so old. If you want to look at it like this, let me just show you how old it makes me feel. I started watching wrestling in 1979. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but my grandmother was watching it. She was babysitting me, and I heard wrestling in the background. I had no idea what it is. When my mom yelled at my grandmother for letting me see that, then I knew it's something I had to see. But if you want to be technical, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. I'm in my 6th decade watching wrestling. My father is the only other man in my life, except for my brother. My father is the only other man in my life that was responsible for giving me like entertainment and stuff. I mean, I know a lot of people dislike him, but you know, the amount of friends that I made over the years in wrestling, the memories. I didn't play any indie wrestling of yours truly tonight because I wanted to focus strictly on SmackDown, Money in the Bank, a little Slammiversary. But, you know, all those memories and everything, I mean, just connecting with somebody and being able to do this now. And, you know, I'm thankful for that for wrestling. That's why I really can't shit on wrestling as much as others. You know, there are people out there that you just scratch your head and say, why is this person a wrestling fan? Oh, I get it. Because if this person writes about football, they might only have 10 people talk to them. Some people watch wrestling or force themselves to watch wrestling because they want to be part of the conversation. I just, you know, it did so much for me over these years. I have a hard time, like, really condemning it. But I do acknowledge that wrestling in recent years has been a lot less entertaining than back in the day. But, you know, I always try to hold out hope. Look, now with live fans back, you're going to see twice as many wrestling podcasts doing shows now. When wrestling sucks, and when it really sucks, oh, I can't do a show today. My computer doesn't work. Oh, I can't do the show today. My uncle died for the 19th time. Oh, I have a power outage in my house. But for some reason, it's, you know, they were still able to like do stuff online. You know, it's just, people make excuses. When wrestling gets good or gets a buzz, then everybody's like, oh, I got to do a show. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. That's why I shouted out earlier, every single podcaster out there, whether you video, audio, every single person out there that worked 100% during the entire time during this pandemic, even though the pandemic is not over. And you know, none of those people out there like, hey, DT, thank you for that. That's pretty cool. It doesn't work that way. You try to be positive online, unless it's a major announcement, doesn't get attention. Misery loves company. Can't be part of that. So hopefully everything is okay with your family. And, you know, my thoughts are with you, without a doubt. So thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know. And I know a lot of people out there are with you too. All right, before we go, I had a lot of you out there who actually do pay attention to Impact Wrestling. Obviously, the ratings are nowhere near what it used to be. They have not been very good at all, but their programming has been decent of late. They have Slammiversary tomorrow. Isn't this like their WrestleMania? And it's got almost no publicity whatsoever. And I don't care what anybody says out there, and I'm not going to go into the whole rant again. I'm just doing predictions now, but I got to just say this one last comment again. You know, you look at the last 8 months of interaction with Impact Wrestling and AEW, and it is so lopsided that I understand any interaction with AEW is better than none. But man, you know, the fact that their WrestleMania is happening tomorrow, and Kenny Omega, yes, he's got a very important storyline with Hangman Page, but there is no buzz, no mention, nothing, zero. And we picked up on this back in January or February. when we were saying, how come Rich Swann is not trying to show up at Daly's place? How come we're not seeing this? How come nobody at Impact Wrestling? And you can't just say, well, it's COVID. It was just, why wasn't there any interaction? It was so lopsided. If I was involved with Impact Wrestling, of course you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to have any falling out with AEW, because if you do want to revisit that down the line, you don't want to reach out to AEW. Hey, you want to do a little bit more? No, we don't think so. We're a little busy right now. So obviously they don't want to burn that bridge. But as a result, to me, Impact Wrestling lost their testicles. They lost their balls. They lost, I hate saying it like this, they lost their manhood. I think you know where I'm going with that. It's not meant to be sexist. They just lost any power. They just sat back and let everything be one-sided. And to me, that's unacceptable. So I give props to Impact Wrestling for not getting vocal out there, for not, when Jim Ross says, oh, no, we feel that Impact Wrestling is, both sides have tremendously benefited from this. If I was high up in Impact Wrestling over the last 7 months, how it's not been reciprocal on TV, I would have been right on social media and I would have just wrote LMFAO or something like that. I give props to Impact for not going that route, because you always want to keep that channel open in the future. But in my opinion, you have live fans coming back. It is time to walk away from that relationship with AEW. If you could do a little bit with Ring of Honor, if you could do a little bit with MLW, if you could do a little bit with NWA, if you could do a little bit with some other promotions out there, do it. But AEW, it feels so one-sided, and it is not helped in the ratings department. It is not, those people claiming the pay-per-view buys that they claimed. Notice how no officials on Impact or AEW even touted that stuff. They just let everybody else make that claim. You got to read between the lines sometimes. If that shit was so true, how come officials aren't like milking that to death? So they need to get away from this AEW stuff sooner than later. If Gallows and Anderson is still going to be on Dynamite, fine. But as far as Kenny Omega being that champion, it's time to take the belt off of him. Too bad you couldn't have Hangman Page show up, get involved, and help, cause Kenny Omega to lose the belt Sunday. Too bad you couldn't do something like that, just to indirectly intensify that storyline with AEW. Maybe it does. From what I've seen so far, I don't know. So anyway, predictions. Josh Alexander, he will retain the Impact X Division Championship. It's an Ultimate X match against Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Rohit Raju. For some reason, when I throw those names out, I feel like I have brought up this match 1,000 times before. Maybe instead of Petey Williams, someone else is in this match. Josh Alexander is great as the X Division champion. I don't think there's any reason to change that right now. So I am going to go with Josh Alexander to retain. That will be an excellent match. But those participants have been involved with each other a few too many times. Doesn't feel like it stands out like it should. Whole pay-per-view doesn't feel like it stands out like it should. Chris Sabin versus Moose. Much as I like Chris Sabin now compared to years ago, I got to go with Moose. The fact that Moose is not champion right now, he needs to get back in the win column as quickly as possible. Deonna Purrazzo defending the Impact Knockouts Championship against an opponent not yet named. A lot of people think it's going to be Ruby Riott. Whoever it is, I just can't see Deonna Purrazzo losing that belt this quickly. And I hope Impact Wrestling resists the quick title change. They did that, 2 months ago? They had that abrupt title change. And what happened? What did we say? Deonna Purrazzo will have it back in a week or two. She got that belt right back. If you have Ruby Riott show up, even if she were to defeat Deonna Purrazzo for that belt, I just can't see her holding it all that long. And I don't want to see a hot shot title change simply for a title change. In Impact Wrestling, it feels like they always want to have at least one title change. So as I go through this list, if I end up with no other title changes, I may have to revisit this women's match. But again, we don't even know who her opponent is. I'm thinking Ruby Riott, like a lot of others. So it's very hard to make a prediction when you don't know who her opponent officially will be. So I don't think it's Tessa Blanchard. I don't think so. I mean, that would be pretty wild under the circumstances. It'd be really interesting to see how they treat Tessa going forward if that was her. But I don't know. I'm just not feeling that right now. Violent by Design, Eric Young, Cody Deaner, Joe Doring, and Rhino. Oh, excuse me. Or Rhino. I just was saying, wait a minute, this is a tag title match. Why is there 4 people in it? Violent by Design, who are the current tag team champions, there's 4 of them. 2 of them will defend the tag belts. It'll either be Eric Young, Cody Deaner, Joe Doring, or Rhino. They will be taking on Rich Swann and Willie Mack. They'll also be taking on Falaba and someone to be announced. Obviously, I think this will be a former WWE star. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of names that pop in my mind that have been released over the last bunch of months. Nobody really entices me at all. And you have the Good Brothers. Now, if the Good Brothers are going to be sticking around, I'd like to see the Good Brothers get those tag titles back. Maybe the interaction with AEW starts to wind down a little bit. We don't know what the Good Brothers' future is going to be in Impact Wrestling. I just don't feel any other team. I mean, let me put it this way. If I'm not going to choose the Good Brothers, then I'm going to say Violent by Design retains. And again, they always want to have at least one title change. So this one, I'm leaning towards Violent by Design to retain. You got 4 guys. They can mix and match however they want. They lose the belts, then what? So I'll go with them retaining. Fire and Flavor versus Havoc and Rosemary for the Impact Knockouts tag team titles. I'd like to see Havoc and Rosemary get these belts. I think it's needed. It would be an interesting change. No reason why Fire and Flavor cannot get those titles back. So, all right, I'm going to go with Havoc and Rosemary to get those tag belts. I'd like to see that title change. Eddie Edwards versus W. Morrissey. No question, the former Big Cass, he will get the win. Looks great. No reason to put a halt in that push. W. Morrissey gets the win. Matt Cardona and an opponent of his choosing, who has to be female, by the way, versus Brian Myers and Tenille Dashwood. It's going to be a mixed tag match. I know Chelsea Green is now part of Ring of Honor. I said at the beginning of the show, I think Chelsea Green will be the partner with Matt Cardona. And I think, I'll go with Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green to get the win. I'll go with that. And the main event, Kenny Omega with Don Callis taking on Sami Callihan. It's a no disqualification match for the Impact World title. Eddie Valentino says Chelsea Green was shown with a hand brace at the Ring of Honor show. It's a mixed tag match. It could end up being all fluff and gaga. So who is he going to use? Jazz? I'll go with Chelsea Green only because I think that would be pretty cool. As much as, I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Cardona, although, some of the stuff he's been doing lately, I've actually kind of enjoyed. I think it would be a fun moment to see Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green together as a team. So go with that. Now, since his main event match is a no DQ, expect a lot of fuckery. Expect the Good Brothers to get involved. Would not be surprised if the Young Bucks make an appearance. I think if you go on this storyline and you pay attention to the social media accounts of everybody who is in Impact Wrestling, they all feel that Kenny Omega is an outsider in storyline and he has something that belongs to them. It's a no DQ match. Every single person on the Impact Wrestling roster in storyline, they should get involved in this match. There should be 30 people getting involved in this match. You think of this story, this is the problem that you create with a storyline like this when you have too many people on your roster on social media playing off that we got to get back what belongs to us. Well, it's a no DQ match. Explain to me what justifies it if Rich Swann is sitting on his ass at home in the back locker room and doesn't come out during this match. What, was he taking a shower? Was the ice cream man outside? Did he fall asleep? If you think of the storyline, every person on the Impact Wrestling roster should come out and do everything possible to help Sami Callihan win. Let's see how they play out that storyline. But I personally feel Kenny Omega needs to lose this title. I don't even think they want to push the belt collector idea as much as they used to. Because Kenny Omega kind of teased it on Dynamite. I don't think the fans give a shit. The fans care about only one belt, the AEW heavyweight title. They don't care about any other promotion. They don't care about what other belts Omega has. So if Omega loses the Impact Wrestling title, you can simply cut a promo like, so what? It's like having a brand new car and a used car. And the used car, after all this time, breaks down on you and you lose. So what? I got this beautiful. So you can play it off like, did I really lose anything? I know that would be very insulting to Impact Wrestling, but this is the bed that they decided to make. So I go with Sami Callihan to beat Kenny Omega and become the Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion. Be kind of weird to see all the members of Impact holding him up in the air. I don't know if that's necessary, but those are my predictions. Be an interesting pay-per-view. Some of you are asking, am I going to watch it? Yeah, I will. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the entire pay-per-view tomorrow. I'm not doing a pay-per-view recap tomorrow. I mean, be honest, there's not enough of you out there watching Impact Wrestling yet. I don't want to do a recap, for 10 people. I'm not trying to be a jerk by saying it that way, but just not enough interest, Plus, don't you want a little break from yours truly a little bit? We're going to be back Sunday, Monday, Patreon, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll see what happens. But I think it'll be a fun pay-per-view. It's just a shame it didn't get the publicity that it should have. It really should have gotten more. Sucks they couldn't get Mauro and Allo back, even to just call, the one match. But then again, there's going to be so much clusterfuck going on. I don't know if Mauro and Allo would want to call that. Seriously. So, oh yeah, Eddie. Yeah, it's a great idea. You know what? Before I go to sleep tonight, for all of you out there that want to join up on a new Discord channel, because for those that don't know, I created a Discord channel just for our YouTube family. I do have a channel for Patreon as well, but I created a channel for our YouTube family. And the reason being is because there's a lot of you out there that like to chat with each other. And, you may not have any outlet to chat when the shows are not live. So the idea of having a Discord channel is everybody who is here could chat over there. Now, obviously, my channel members, my La Nostra Familia, they'll, ooh, shit. And, watching this back yesterday, I saw that you could see when I dropped the freaking, I don't have a good place to keep my keyboard. And I always worry that I may inadvertently like shut the computer down. But the Discord channel, the idea is where you could all hang out. And here's the most important thing. You know, no trolling over there. Look, if you disagree with each other, of course. You disagree with me, of course. You want to vent about something, of course. But, you know, anybody that shows up there and just wants to just, you know, shoot people down and just call them horrible shit, they don't even get a warning. They're just gone. It's a nice vibe. I love the vibe here. I wouldn't trade this for anything. So before I go to sleep tonight, give me about 30 minutes or so in the community section. I'll put another invite up. It'll be good for like 50 or 100 signups. Join the channel, and if you're around tomorrow night during Slammiversary, I will be in there. We will chat live. And hey, who knows? You know, once in a while we live stream some video there that we probably shouldn't. But I don't think anybody is going to try to shut down our channel. I'm not saying I'm going to stream Slammiversary in there. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Yeah, I actually get along with some people that are involved in Impact Wrestling on the executive side. So I don't want to, you know, ruffle those feathers. So, but we'll talk about it at least. So anyway, you know, it's funny. I'm looking at, could you all still see me right now? Because I'm actually looking at the video screen. Wait, hit escape. Oh, there I am. Okay. All right. No, not Dixie Carter. Lower on the food chain. Much lower on the food chain. Trust me. I have friends in all promotions, but not, you know, not as high up as you think. But I will tell you again, like I said, the little kid in me, you know, made me feel so good with the WWE stuff last week. I know Thunderdome sucked overall. You know, being fed what to say and how to react obviously is not something you ever want to have. But, you know, to know that somebody was tuning in a couple of Mondays ago, I said, hey, you know, I'd love one of those red Raw shirts and I'll do Deli Man. And 24 hours later, I get emailed the tracking number. I have no idea who sent me the shirt. And then next thing I know, I'm getting an invite. And they have me behind the announcer's table. And I'm like, yeah, you got to, that was pretty cool. The haters hated it, man. Do you notice even people that are supposed friends of mine, do you notice how not one of them went on social media like, Deli Man tonight. Oh, that was pretty cool. Or do you notice that? Or people are supposedly friends with me, podcasters included. Mish, I think, is the only one. And O'Connor as well, and Lee, RCW. But for the most part, a lot of the other names out there, take notice, not one of them, just even a comedy sense. Dude, that was fucking hilarious. Deli Man right front and center. Nothing. You have Deli Man holding us on. No, nothing whatsoever. That gives you an idea, truthfully, of how these people are. You know, I could care less. As long as you're supporting, that's all I care about, honestly. You know, you learn over time who truly has your back and who is just playing the game simply because, you know, they're playing the game. I play the game too. But I'll always put in the hours here for all of you. And I'm going to jet out of here. We're at 2 hours and 24 minutes. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, I actually got to go to a wedding hall to start picking out dates to, you know, make my wedding date. So tomorrow might be a big day because, you know, we're going to find out what dates are available next year. And I'm probably going to have to reserve like 2 or 3 dates. And then I got to contact, I guess, like, you know, on the wedding side to find out if I could get somebody to marry me at that same date. So that's going to be a big deal tomorrow. But, all right. So before I jet out of here, I got one more super chat that I'd like to give a shout out to. And Scorpio is definitely one of the friends out there. Quick question. He recently heard back the episode that I did covering the Benoit tragedy. He always wanted to know who was Sal from Arizona and why he was not allowed to call in. Well, Sal from Arizona was a big supporter of the shows. The problem is, and look, I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody specific, but if any of you out there have ever browsed by the current Discord channel that has been up for the last couple of years, especially for all the shows I'm involved in, one thing you will notice is that it's usually dominated by about 20 people. And there are people live right now that have experienced it, that if you show up there and you're not a regular and you just want to talk about specific topics, like there's a few that will intentionally just tweet about nothing just to bury your posts. There's a good friend of mine that is a podcaster that put a pretty big announcement in there, and like literally 5 people just tweeted about, I think, tacos or something, just to bury his shit. And there's a climate that, you know, this person will rip Sonny, this person will do this person will rip this one, they'll shit on Goldberg, they'll shit on this and shit on that. And that's the climate. It's always ripping something. Let's crap on Tony Khan, let's crap on this, let's crap on that. And the thing is that, you know, because they, and here's where I'm getting with Sal from Arizona, because they're in the Discord hours each day, some people find that okay then, that this person is such a big contributor on Discord that, you know, he should have the right to say what he wants to say. Like, that's the climate. Like, you have a few people that will just flood negativity, but because there's so much activity with those people, like, it just stays there. And that's why I made the change to create my own channel, because there's a lot of good people in there, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to create a climate where if you don't hang out and chat all that much and you want to stop in and talk about something for a minute, like, everybody will be sociable, you know, and not just bury your shit or try to just troll and this and that. So Sal from Arizona was one of those people who was a big supporter of the show, but would do the very same things, shoot things down, say a lot of outrageous stuff, you know, because a channel is not safe for work. They would say some pretty fucked up shit out there that even, you know, back then I was very, very politically incorrect. I have, you know, calmed down and, you know, changed in a lot of ways over the years. But back then, even some of the shit that was said back then, I found totally, put it this way, like when the Benoit tragedy happened, you know, Sal from Arizona, Nancy was a bitch. She deserved it. And what you would get in return? LOL, LOL, LOL. Wow, LOL, LOL, LOL. No, that's not LOL. But that climate was accepted. So it got to a point where you got to draw the line, and some people refuse to draw the line. I support your fucking shows. I should be able to have every right to say what I want to say. And then some people needed to be physically removed. So that's pretty much the overall stints of it. You know, there was a lot of people that supported our stuff, but that doesn't, you know, like some wise asses will throw in my face now. And some of them have written it on Discord, because I see even the things they delete, because the latest thing that some people do there is they'll throw a lot of shade my way, including some people that do shows. They'll throw shade my way. Everybody will get a good laugh out of it. All right, let's all delete our comments now, so it's not shown on the wall. So somebody can't DM me and say, DT, you see what they said about you? But I go in the audit log, and it shows me all the comments that were deleted. You know what I mean? So I play the game too. But the thing is that some of them now that don't hang out here, they'll say, oh, you know, DT won't address this, but DT will whore himself out. If you super chat him $5, then he'll say whatever you want him to say. And no, that's not what this is about. So, that's the climate you're in. You got to just deal with it. I try to stay away from all that shit as much as possible. I try to focus. I'd rather be busy here, hanging out with all of you, than to be dealing with that stuff. That's why, like I said, there was a few people out there that thought that I was talking specifically about them on a few things. And I'm like, don't flatter yourself that much. There's so much shit going on. The last thing I need to do is focus on a couple of babies out there or a couple of people that just hate everything. It sucks that you hate so much about life, but, none of us here want to be that. So anyway, I ranted a little bit, kill 5 minutes of time. So hopefully I answered that for you, Scorp. And I thank you as always for being a part of the shows. I thank you all for hanging out tonight. Have a wonderful weekend. If you watch Slammiversary tomorrow, stop by the Discord. Like I said, I promise you, in about a half hour, 40 minutes, I will put in the community section a link where you could join the Discord. And I think we're officially launching it on Sunday, but it will be working tomorrow. So I'll be up there. We'll be chatting Slammiversary throughout the night. And a couple of weeks, we'll start doing games. We'll start doing like some Among Us stuff. We're going to do some card games, some other stuff. We got things planned. Right now we just want the Discord channel to launch, and we want, everybody to get a feel for it first, and then we take it to the next level. So Fly out of Super Chat. I got to look. Did I actually overlook his? If I did, I am so sorry. Oh, shit, I did. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I was talking about Brian earlier. I'll be more than happy to answer, of course. And look, everyone out there, if I ever overlook someone, let me know. Because I'm not perfect here. I do accidentally overlook things. But Fly, this is a great one, man. The Nick Khan effect taking place, this great example, man. Great example. WWE is going to be at a rap music festival. I know some of you know what that is, Rolling Loud. I think Stephanie made some comments recently about it. And I tell you, you go back 15 years, about 15 years. You might even be able to go back further than that. Remember, like, Jericho would be on Headbangers Ball? Was that the show? Like, you would have wrestlers making appearances on MTV, VH1, MTV2. You want to go back to the 80s. We had wrestlers hosting Friday night videos on NBC TV. I think Roddy Piper hosted an episode once. It's awesome to see them branching out like this. Look, Bad Bunny, I know a lot of us don't listen to his music. And when he first came in, I understand why. You look at his size, you look at some of the things about him, like, this guy's going to wrestle. Miz is going to have to sell for that. Until the match happened. And then you realize how serious this guy took everything. And it was awesome. It was incredible. So the fact that they're now branching out, doing this, it's a little old school for yours truly. And the thing is that obviously they have to back this up with great content. Because if you start doing these appearances and start getting a lot more interactive and you're getting a little bit of a rub and the product sucks, then you got a little bit of a problem here. Because then you got some of the hosts that are going to be talking stuff, and if it doesn't make sense with what's on TV, or if you realize that they really aren't paying attention to their shit, it's going to fail miserably. But back in the day, you would have Jericho making appearances, Cena making appearances. Hell, if you even want to go back to WCW, one of the most memorable ones was, I think, Raven and Diamond Dallas Page. Didn't they show up on MTV also? Didn't, like, Raven knock him out with, like, a stop sign or something? Shit like that. You remember that stuff. I think it's a wonderful move, but again, because we're wrestling fans at the end of the day, we just want good content. You want to show up at other places, fine, but you got to back it up with some good content. So this might force WWE's hand to really step it up. Now with fans back and SummerSlam being treated as the WrestleMania, and you got all of this momentum, ignore the noise. Like today, I saw somebody writing that, AEW tickets in New York are selling better than WWE tickets. And they're like, well, maybe it's because Madison Square Garden is forcing proof of vaccination. Just shut up. Just shut up. It's two totally different, atmospheres. They were comparing WWE ticket sales in Florida to AEW's. Yet AEW's ticket prices started like $25 on average, and WWE's was like twice as much. You can't do that. You got to ignore all that stuff. Just focus on what's on TV. If we're enjoying it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I always take it one step further when I talk about ratings and everything else. And as I brought up yesterday, if you didn't tune in yesterday, AEW 1,025,000 viewers. Did you notice something? I'm sorry for those that tuned in yesterday and know what I'm about to say. You notice something? Notice how, because the rating was so good yesterday, notice how nobody said, the usual suspects, wow, the rating could have been much higher if it wasn't for the NBA playoffs. They didn't say a fucking word. How come? How come? We've had playoffs. We've had baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Game 4 of the NBA Finals went down, and AEW still scored 1,025,000 viewers. Why did they not focus on, wow, that rating would have been so much higher? No, because they were content with the rating. When people are content with the rating, suddenly it doesn't matter what's on the other channel. Game 4, teams are not, that's why you got to ignore these people out there, because when they will fill a narrative, if this number sucks, we'll blame it on this. If this number is this, we'll blame it on that. But if we get a good number, then, checking out the chat room before I go. So I'm out of here. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy both shows if you watch them. And if you're around Sunday night, right after the pay-per-view, join me here. Don't forget, for my channel members here, we are going to be doing a predictions contest for Money in the Bank. I will put up the contest tomorrow, Saturday. You'll have 24 hours to enter. Same thing on Patreon. Tomorrow I'll be recording the Q&A as well, as long as my voice keeps up. I think I'll be fine. And, we'll keep going. So, everyone, it's been great. Big shout out to La Nostra Familia. And I'm going to change that, because even though most of you now know that La Nostra Familia means my great family, some of you just want it to be like the VIP elite, So if any of you in mind for my, family members out there, if any of you out there have any ideas of what we should change that to, let me know. Maybe we'll change it every week. We'll call it something every week, but it's obviously our great channel members and our VIP family. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. And, on the way out, if you enjoyed the show, hit that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. We're this close to 20,000. And we still haven't figured out what we're going to do when we get to 20,000. But, I want to get to 100,000. Seriously. And the only way we're going to get to 100,000 is by, still grinding over here and, being authentic and, just people just realizing that, what you see is what you get over here. It's not any gimmick or anything like that. And spread the word of all the shows. Let others know about the channel. I absolutely love all of you out there that say, hey, DT, enjoying the shows. Never knew you existed. So there's so much untapped audience out there. And look, for the 80 to 85% of you out there that only access my shows audio only, stop by once in a while on the video side. You know, stop by, say hello, participate in a contest, you know, hang out for a little bit. That'd be pretty cool to see some of you once in a while stop by over here. So anyway, good luck to everyone who participated in the ratings contest. You know, we should have a winner by Monday, if not Tuesday, the latest. And remember, we do have the chat transcript, so we cannot manipulate anybody's numbers. So we'll see who wins, and we'll announce it Monday if the final rating comes in. So everyone, I'm out of here. And as I always do now to close out the shows, my favorite movie, my favorite pet of all time. And yeah, I love this. Can't never get sick of this. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.